Hello everyone. I cannot believe we are about to start talking about 2026. Holy cow, where has the year gone? This is insane. I am sitting in my floor because you guys can see behind me all of my TBR books. Like this shelf here, I have read quite a bit of, but these are all TBR books. And so I needed to give myself a little bit of a reality check and, kind of show off all of the things that I still need to read. A lot of these are my 25 to read in 2025 that I still haven't read, but let's talk about 26 books I want to read in 2026. I did have to do some assessing of my tastes. I did have to do a little bit of a revamp of what I want my 2026 to look like, because if you can see behind me, there are a lot of fantasy, there are a lot of sci-fi, and not a whole lot of anything else. And what have I avoided reading all year? Fantasy and sci-fi. I have one book that's going to make this list simply because I want to settle back into fantasy before I start reading it. And that would be my most anticipated book of the year, Empire of the Dawn. Yes, I do want to delve into this right now. I want to read it immediately, but I have not had the best track record with fantasy lately. I just haven't. And yes, this is a favorite author. Yes, this is a favorite series. Yes, this is about vampires. And it should hit. It is a chunky baby. I am so very excited about it. But with the way I have been reacting to fantasy lately, I'm a little too scared to delve into this, and I think this might be my first read of January. I might let myself settle back into fantasy before picking this up. Next on the list is going to be 2. I did a video of reading 10 books randomly selected from my TBR, giving them a taste test, and seeing if I wanted to pick them up later. Now, these 2 were ones that I was very intrigued by after I read the first chapter, and I want to delve into them. I kind of want to keep this series going on my channel, so I will probably be doing this again and then reading the books that pique my interest. And we will get into more of my 2026 goals in a little bit, but a lot of it's going to be reading down my TBR because, as you can see, there's a lot that needs to be read. But in that video, I read part of The Conductors by Nicole Glover. Really liked the start of this. It had a very punchy beginning, and I'm always looking for something that's going to grip me right off the bat. I don't always need that. T.A. Bruno is a favorite author of mine, and he doesn't do that. But I really was intrigued by all of this. And it's set in the aftermath of the Civil War. This has a lot to do with the Underground Railroad and magic and things like that. And I loved the beginning of this, so I can't wait to get further into it. On that same note, in that same video, I read the beginning chapters of Wool by Hugh Howey, and I really liked it. I really liked it. I realize I am putting a fantasy and a sci-fi on right off the bat, and a huge chunker fantasy after talking about not really loving fantasy lately. But I've already read parts of these and know that they were very intriguing from the beginning, so I'm looking forward to delving into these. And the Silo series has been on my TBR for a really long time. Next, we have a horror that is kind of fallen to the wayside. I bought it whenever I was trying to delve back into horror and then just kind of forgot about it. So I want to add it to this list so that I don't continue to forget about it. But it's Sister Maiden Monster by Lucy A. Snyder. This is a Bram Stoker award-winning author. It says a hideously gory, kink-fueled feminist cosmic horror apocalypse novel. Honestly, reading that was all I needed to know. I do like cosmic horror. I do like the Lovecraftian stuff every now and then. It's not my favorite, but I do like it when it doesn't go too off the rails. But I think I was put off to this because I did read some cosmic horror leading up to trying this one that was a little too off base for me, a little too out there. But I do think I could really like this one. Also, it's kind of nice to add some shorter books to these lists. I will link all of my bingo boards in the description of this so you guys can see what else is coming for 2026. So next, I would like to read The Surviving Sky, see if it's a book that I like, because a lot of my friends have really enjoyed this series, but they're not 100% 100% convinced it is going to be the book for me. But I was recommended this because I was looking for books that had a married couple at the heart of the story. And that is why I picked this up, not really for any other reason, though I do really like sci-fi books like Essa Hansen, where the worlds are very inventive and the ideas are very big. And so I do think I could like this one. I'm not going to write it off just because the only reason I'm going to read it is the married couple. I do think I could like this, but I really want to read it and find out. This is also on my Romantasy Bingo. Next is a book that I don't know why I haven't read it yet. And every time I come across it, I'm like, why haven't I read it? But then I don't pick it up. But it's one that I do think I will really love, and that is The Redemption of Morgan Bright by Chris Panettiere. I think I might put this off because the one Chris Panettiere I read was really silly and wasn't really my type of read. And so when I come across this book, I see Chris Panettiere, and that might be the association, but I think I will really love this one. This is gothic. This is about a girl whose sister goes missing at an insane asylum, so she checks herself in to figure out what is going on at this insane asylum, and can she solve the mystery of her sister's disappearance, all that stuff. So I do think that I will really like this one. Next, so I'm kind of going to add two books here. But for the same reason, I want to delve into some of my favorite authors of 2025. I want to delve into their backlist, and I have picked up The Road King by Abigail Owen and The Last Namsara from Kristen Ciccarelli. I've heard very good things about this one in particular. Not heard much about this, but I loved The Games Gods Play. I am about to start reading the second book in that one. I had it sitting beside me. I don't know where. Oh, it's still there. It's still there. The Things Gods Break. But since they are favorite authors of 2025 for me, I want to delve into their backlist and see what I think of them. Am I going to like them as much? Or was it that their writing has been elevated since these books have released? I don't know, but I want to delve into their backlist and find out. So maybe it's a 27 to read in 2026, but I mean, it's the same purpose. So if I read one of these, it counts. Here I am throwing a fantasy series into the mix because it's one that I do think that I will love. I've heard awesome things about it. It has buzzwords out the wazoo for me. The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I still haven't read this. I don't know why. I really honestly can't tell you why. But I love revolution stories. I love everything that I've heard about this. I should really enjoy. Now, the one thing that I am not sure about is writing style, because I have heard this might be a writing style that I don't enjoy. But I'm so interested in this series that I want to give it a shot. It says an epic fantasy debut of uprising, espionage, and empire. So yes, those three buzzwords are all I need. Okay, another goal of mine in 2026 that is going to be a carryover from 2025 is I really want to read my book box books. And so I think that goal will remain as long as I keep buying book box books. And I don't see that stopping because I've really enjoyed my book of the month books. I've really enjoyed my aardvark books. So yeah, like I'll be keeping them. So that will continue to be a goal of mine. And I have quite a few of those in the stacks coming up. That's why I'm mentioning it now. But next I have Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. As you guys know, C.G. Drews is already on my horror bingo list. I do plan to read Let the Forest In, I believe is the name of that one. But this is their newest one, and it sounds very gothic, very up my alley. We have a guy who goes to live in this house with his uncle, I believe, and his cousin is kind of obsessed with him, or he's obsessed with his cousin, and it's a very dark obsession. So they try to keep them separated. That's one of the things that I know. And then there's something to do with the garden in this. I also really love the like little flowers that are shiny on this. I want to read these. I love the eco horror books. I've always really enjoyed them. I definitely love a gothic novel. Those are my favorites. And so I do think I will like it. Sorry if we shifted a bit. I had to take a call from my husband, and then I had to clean off my camera lens because I use my phone. Anyway, Next up is one that I've been meaning to read all year and then just never got around to it, but I have a special edition copy of Beach Read by Emily Henry. I have liked Emily Henry in the past, and so I picked this up hoping I would like it just as much, but it is a romance, and that's all I know. Emily Henry wrote it. That's all I know. It says a tender, thoughtful, and very fun book, but it's not only convincing but infectious. I don't know what that means. Sure. But I have heard very good things about this one in particular, so I picked it up and I couldn't pass up this really pretty edition. Okay, so I haven't even hauled these books yet, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about them. I just received my book of the month, so I'm going to throw these on there. Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempholtz. This is supposed to be cozy fantasy, and I picked it up because I've been trying to give some of the cozies a little bit more of a chance. I do like Emily Wilde, and this has like an Emily Wilde feel to it. It says, Guy Shadowfade is dead, and after a lifetime as Dark Sorcerer's right hand, Violet Thistlethwaite is determined to start over. Not as the fearsome Thorn Witch, but someone kind, someone better, someone good. And I thought that that sounded like it could be really fun. After being this horrible person who works for this horrible person trying to turn your life around, I think this could be dark enough or darkly humorous enough for me to really enjoy it. Now for one I've seen everywhere, and I'm just kind of excited to see if I like it myself. We have Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. Again, book of the month. Haven't even hauled the book. It starts with a class in an old movie theater. Folklore 517, local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the Professor's stories are just fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. So it sounds like it could be up my alley. I want to delve into it. You guys know academia I have iffy feelings about it, but this sounds really good and I really want to delve into it and see if I like it. Then for an author I have read from before and enjoyed, we have The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow, and Esme has already given this 5 stars and ranted and raved about it, so I'm very much looking forward to it. I didn't think I was going to put this at the end of the year TBR because I have so many other things to read, so I wanted to put it here to let you guys know I will probably be getting to this early in 2026. A Legend, a Lie, a Love Story. I know that this has to do with like rewriting history. I know that this has to do with like a twist on Arthurian legend. So I do think I could really like it, but I'm a little iffy about it. I have liked Alex E. Harrow in the past before though. I do know it has some like time trippy stuff in it. So that could be what throws me, and that it has taken some like poetic license throughout the story. So we'll see. I do think I could like it, but it's one that it could go really hard one way or really hard the other. Another that is on my, I think this is my Romantasy Bingo. I have A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. Now I'm putting this here because I've had this book for a while, so I want to make sure that I read it. If it's on multiple lists, I'm more likely to read it. And this is supposed to be dark fantasy with romantasy at the heart of it. So I'm looking forward to it for those aspects alone. So another that I bought and then kind of it just fell to the wayside for me because I didn't hear anybody talk about it, but Their Monstrous Hearts by Egit Thurin, I believe. It says, a darkly alluring and evocative tale that will leave readers spellbound, but that's from Dua Lipa. And so I don't know much about this other than I bought it because it was just so dang pretty. Now I'm a sucker for a pretty cover, a haunting novel about the boundaries people will cross to keep their dreams alive. So we'll see. Like I said, I haven't heard anybody really talk about this, but with this cover and that tagline, I was just kind of like, yes, I need it in my life. As you guys know, I've been trying to read through my collection of Rachel Harrison. I do have Black Sheep, and so this is just another Rachel Harrison to read that I own. I have heard that I will probably like this one, especially since I liked Play Nice so much. A cynical 20-something must confront her unconventional family secrets. This fiery, irreverent horror novel from the author of Sharp Teeth and Cackle, or Such Sharp Teeth and Cackle. But I'm looking forward to this quite a bit. Rachel Harrison's books, I've given everything above 4 stars or above, so very much looking forward to that. Now for a book that has hit the Goodreads Choice Awards list that I own, so I hope to read it soon, but I don't think I'm going to get to it by the end of the year. That would be King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. I have wanted to read things from S.A. Cosby for a while. All of my friends talk about Blacktop Wasteland, but this was the offering I got from Book of the Month, so I went ahead and picked it up. Also, I apologize, I have the hiccups for some reason. I don't really know much about this. It says, a son returning home, a dangerous debt, secrets about to ignite, and a family about to be consumed by flames. I just want to read some S.A. Cosby, so I picked this one up because it was the one Book of the Month offered. And on that same note, I have been wanting to read some Christina Henry, and Aardvark offered The Place Where They Buried Your Heart. And I know that this is a haunted house story. You guys know I really love a haunted house story. So I just want to read this one because it's by Christina Henry. I do have Alice somewhere up there. So I do have a couple of her books to try, but I'm adding this to the list since it is a goal of mine to read my book box books. This seemed more fitting than Alice because that was not from a book box. And I kind of hope that we will pick this up for the horror read-along on Fable. Next, I said I wanted to try some more cozy fantasy that had darker elements or had more stakes to them. And I have heard Kill the Beast is one of those. When this came up on Aardvark, I had just read a few reviews that said, yes, this is cozy, but it's not cozy in the way you expect. There are stakes, there are lives at stake. And so I want to read it now. Give another cozy a try. And I do still keep trying cozy because there are authors that I have enjoyed in the genre. There are certain elements to cozy that I don't like. But when those are addressed or we have actual stakes in the book, I do tend to like them more. Another that got bypassed through 2025 that I do still want to read is The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. I picked this up from Book of the Month. This is a sci-fi mystery, and I do want to read a mystery by TJ Klune. I have liked a couple of his books. I'm not big on cozy, like we just said, so I haven't read House in the Cerulean Sea, which I have considered trying because I have heard that it can get quite dark, but I don't know. But I did like the fact that there was a sci-fi mystery thriller from him, and I want to give this a shot. Again, another Aardvark offering. When the Tides Held the Moon. I was obsessed with this cover from the very beginning. It is so beautiful. So when Aardvark offered it, I was like, yes, please. But this is a little bit of a historical fantasy where a merman is captured and the guy who is in charge of taking care of him kind of falls in love with him. And it's, I believe, kind of like a circus. In Coney Island, true love rises to the surface with lush illustrations and buoyant prose, an unforgettable New York fairy tale. Yeah, it's a sideshow. So I thought that this could be really fun. Next is another that is on my Romantasy Bingo, but one I have owned for a little while and want to make sure that I read in 2026. That is Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I have heard this has dark elements in it, and I'm going to enjoy the dark, monstrous elements that are in the book, and that is what has put me on to this book. And I love the cover again. I'm a sucker for a beautiful cover. I really am. Fear the monsters we make. Being the sparrow isn't an honor, it's a trap. I do know that a lot of the Romantasy girlies have been absolutely loving this, and so that's the reason it hit my radar, and that's the reason I bought it. Now for an adult debut by a very well-loved YA author, we have Red City by Marie Lu. I was hoping to read this by the end of the year, but I don't think I'm going to get to it, so I'm just going to add it to this list. I think this sounds very much like Jade City, but a condensed version. And Marie Lu has a tendency to write a little bit more plot-driven books. And so I'm more interested in this one than I would be Jade City. And so I picked this one up, hoping that it would be like Jade City Light, or more plot-driven at least than Jade City. But I'm going to give this a shot. My stack is getting very precarious, and I'm afraid it's going to fall over and then knock my camera over and all that. I have 3 more, and I do believe... yeah, these last 3 are all from Aardvark. Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I don't know why. I love Shakespeare. I have really enjoyed Ava Reid's writing. I haven't heard the greatest things about this book though. And so I think that makes me nervous, even though I know I like Shakespeare and I know I like Ava Reid. it's a little scary. It's a little scary. So I'm putting this on the list, hoping that I will get to it in 2026. Next, from an author I have read from before, we have Upon a Starlit Tide by Kel Woods. And it says magnificent. This is a must read. We do have, oh, that was from Juliette Marillier. That's kind of an intriguing blurby there. But I've heard great things about this. I have really enjoyed all of the mermaid books I have read. They are not something that I gravitate towards, even though there are 2 on this list. But it sounds really good. And this is one that is kind of a mix of Little Mermaid and Cinderella. So that caught my attention. I really like reimaginings, retellings of certain stories, especially when they take the tropes of that story and kind of flip them around a little bit. I do always enjoy that, but very much looking forward to this. And again, we have a stunning cover. All right, last on this list is going to be a sci-fi that I purchased at the beginning of 2025. We Lived on the Horizon by Erica Swyler. I've actually heard very good things about this. I just haven't picked it up. And this says, an engrossing new novel about bioprosthetic surgeon and her personal AI as they are drawn into a revolution. You guys know, like I said before, I love a story of revolution. I love AI stories. I have a tendency to really like when AI is involved, especially like Megan E. O'Keefe. She has a tendency to write AI into her stories, but you start talking about a revolution and I'm on board. So I really, really want to read this. This might be one I pick up earlier in the year as well. Now, of course, this list is not comprehensive of the books that I want to read in 2026. I still have some Essa Hansen, some Megan E. O'Keefe to read. I do plan to read those. I just got Rose in Chains by Julie Soto, but there are some that I'm not sure if I will get to them by the end of the year or if they will carry over into 2026. We will also talk about series that I would like to reread and series that I need to read the first book and then continue on with the series. I have The Stardust Thief that I got the second book, but I really want to read the first book and then pick up the second book. And there are going to be some series that I need to just read into completion because the third book came out later than expected, or I got to it later than expected. And so I'm a little muddy on the starts of the books and how we got there. And I just kind of want to start those over. The Forgetting Moon, Blackest Heart, Lonesome Crown. I started reading The Lonesome Crown and realized I didn't know what was going on, so I need to reread those. But this is the list of the 26 books I want to read in 2026. We will talk about more books that I want to read in 2026, and I will link all of my bingo boards down below so you can see the lists that I have already made. Thanks for your time, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!